Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of C# programming tutorial. I'm Hossein Azizollahi, and today we are going to talk about the library and NuGets. So let's talk about what are the libraries. Libraries in programming languages are a collection of pre-written code that the users can use them to optimize their tasks. In C# we export our libraries into DLL files so we can use them later in our application. And DLL stands for Dynamically Linked Library. So how to create a dynamically linked library file, or DLL, in C#? You should come to Solution Explorer here and then right click on our solution and then add a new project. In here we're going to add class library. Next, our library, and now next, create. Now we have built our first library, which usually starts with a public class, something like that. And we know that if we write a public before a class or a DLL file, we're actually exporting that class or interface to outside of our project. And our project will be compiled into an object file, and then that object file will be exported into a format of a DLL file. So let's start with an example. I write here public interface iSample. Now here I will write string get message, and here I will create iSample create, going back, a static, adding a default behavior, writing new sample, which says that we don't have a sample right now, sure, but now sample, we have it, and the sample shall implement the iSample. And let's remove the public from the class and implement the interface here. Now we have our class written and prepared. Let's write the yes. It's a hello world sample message. So in here we have an application, console application, which is a library and NuGets, and we have a DLL file, our library. We can right click and go to the properties, and now we can see that, oh yeah, the output file, the file that we will export it, will be a library, not a console application nor the Windows application, which actually both console application and Windows application will be an exe file, while the class library will be a DLL file. There are a lot of properties in here which you can set it. I'm not going to go to any details for this part. Now, how we do use this one inside of our library and NuGet, we shall come to here and right click on this part and then add a. So how can we import our library into our library and NuGet console application? It's simple. We must come to the console explorer and then right click on the dependencies and then add a project reference. In here you can click on it and then okay, boom, now we can use our sample iSample. Let me add our using dot create. Now we have a sample object, which we can use it here as a sample dot get message. Let's run our application to see the result. As you can see, we could print out the yes, it is a hello world sample message, which comes from our library class. Now, if you attention, we do not have any access to our sample class. I will write the var sample2 new sample, and then semicolon. What it says, sample is inaccessible due to its protection level, and that is right. Now you might say that we could just simply come here and, for example, adding a new folder and writing our library, and then adding the same thing, writing the same thing here. Isn't it all because we don't rewrite the code that we once wrote it? So we could simply just come here and add a new file and writing a class like this and use it in our application. That was simple. Why did we need a new file, a new project for that? Well, there are some reasons. First, by doing so, dependency management will be more explicit. We can manage to not fall into the circular dependencies and stuff like that. Another reason is that when you create a library like this, you can share your library with the world. I could just simply come here and just take it out, and then again here, coming to browse, going to here and going there, going to build debug .NET 6, and then clicking on my DLL and then add it. There you go. I can add a DLL from the file and not even from my projects. So once you're going to share your written code with the world, you have to export it into a file, and that file in C# is DLL. So now that we understand the importance of creating a dynamically linked library file, we shall know that there is a problem. It's really hard to search on the web and find the proper library for myself. And by the way, managing the versions of them, having a history of them and stuff like that, it's an unnecessary effort that I should not be bothered with. It's better that an application comes in and manages all of this for me. For this reason, in many programming languages, people build something called library repository management. And in C# we have the same thing, which is called NuGets. So once I'm gonna add a new library from the NuGet repository, I can come to dependencies here and then manage packages. See? Now you have access to the NuGet package manager, and you can find which library to use. For example, I'm gonna install a library to convert the JSON files here, newton.json. I can simply click on it, and then clicking on an install, here's the version. If I'm going to use the older versions, it's also available. I can click on this one and then use it. And so in here, to search and find your library, you can search it here. For example, here if I write, you can find the Newtonsoft packages. Now if you're going to search for a certain type within a package, you can simply come here and write T colon and then the type that you're looking for. I will write converter if any package has this type here. Now, if you attention, telling to these, I'm calling these as a package, not a library. Though they are the library, but they're contained of many dynamically linked libraries. So we prefer to call them as a package here. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you liked this video and subscribe to my channel. And hit the bell so you will be notified once I publish my next video. Thank you.